Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Good evening, everybody. Have this little thing up here. So what we're going to do is take that down. And hi. Now you can see me, for better or for worse. Welcome to Baron After Dark. I'm your host, the Baron himself, Baron Ormantag. And tonight, my favorite guest of tonight is Master Paul of the Star Wars Guys. So everyone, please give him
Hello.
Welcome, applause out there. Everyone who's out there. I know that my super wrench, John Rendell, is out there. Our
Hi, John.
As Fez for Hire.
Mm-hmm.
The old man is out there. Hail, everyone.
And, hello, old man.
So,
thank you for having me, man.
Oh, more than happy to. I've been meaning to ask you on for a while, and I figured, let's do it now. Let's get it going now that I'm on your show, Tuesday Night Trek. So we'll promote that right away, which is 8 o'clock Central Standard Time on, obviously Tuesday, if it's going to be Tuesday Night Trek. And then, you have several other programs and shows that you've been doing out there.
I do.
Throughout the way. So you're a busy man. You're a busy man.
Yes, very much. And all of that, by the way, while working a full-time job, too.
I wish I was young again. I wish I had. But have the
I'm
energy
enjoying
to
it
do
for
all
as
that.
long as it lasts.
Yeah, do it. That's my best. I remember when I was younger, was constantly running here, there, all over the Twin Cities area with Star Trek clubs and doing all sorts of silly, geeky things left and right. So we didn't have the expanse of the YouTube and stuff like that back then. We actually had to burn fuel.
Yeah. So thank God you don't have to do that today with these prices.
Oh, I know. Arm and a leg and a few other body parts too. Throw it in. I'm just taking a look at some of that. The long suffering had to fill up the other day on the fuel in the car, and it's like, yeah, it's a good thing we're carpooling. That's the best I can say. So, and I work at 2 days at home, so that helps out even better.
Sure.
I'm trying to remember where I first ran into. I think it was Doomcock's channel.
It might have been. I know you've popped into his. I know you've popped into his chat a couple times, and of course, I appeared on one of his streams on Pop Culture Breakdown, and as always, I have to give credit to that to Mexican Iron Man, because he pretty much knows anyone who's everyone now on YouTube.
And
he knows me.
Yeah, as I like, yeah, you really got to know him not too long ago.
Oh
Uh,
yes,
as I like to
lightsaber
call
blade
him,
right here.
I like to call him a living patron saint of YouTubers because he goes, "Why? Why do you call me that?" And I go, "Because you know everybody. You've been out there. You have a big heart. You've helped people all the time. Every time I turn around, you're giving suggestions, and I've heard all the good things you said about me because you're not supposed to have found out about that." Okay, I'll keep my mouth shut next time about that. So yeah, Mexican Airman's a great guy, and I haven't talked to him in a while. I need to bother him. I've been kind of laying low because I know tax season, but I'm sure that's over with now. So
Right.
yeah.
But I think the first time you and I actually met, I think that was on Pacific 414's channel. Maybe one time that we were talking about wrestling or something. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, the wrestling one, and that's where we did the what would you call it? The wrestling talk there,
Oh yeah, the
promoting you up for
promos.
that one. Yeah, the promos.
Yes. And
So
I said it then, I'll say it now. You still do an amazing Mean Gene Okerlund.
Mean Gene Okerlund here talking about the wrestling event going on out there. Yeah. Now I'm glad I do him well. So I mean, do him good. That's he was quite the character. There's no doubt about it. And when
He was.
I saw him one time go in the ring when he was older. No, he's bald and all that, and had the little paunch on there. But he was out there in the ring doing some wrestling sometime and going, "Wow, what the heck?" And this was uh, it was quite a shock on there. We also had at one time another wrestler announcer. His name was Herb Carneal of the Minnesota Twins. But in his older days, he used to do announcing for wrestling, but he never let people. It's like, oh no, like forget about that. I'm a Twins announcer. I'd rather be known for that. So
Understandable.
yeah, of course, yeah, and of course, Mr. Mouse is here. So Mr.
Hey,
Rendell is
hey, Miles.
the mighty, cranky, and furry mouse. But of course, through all that, we found out, of course, you're very musically talented. As I like to sit
Yeah.
back and say, Master Paul and his guitar shop and guitar pick museum that he has over there. So
Yeah, all of this somehow fit into my one bedroom. In fact, just about every guitar that I have now, at least in active use, is in here. I might have to get up and get them, but I would be willing to do a showcase.
oh, we wouldn't mind that. How many do you have?
So here in the room with me, I have 5 guitars. One's
Mm-hmm.
currently in pieces though, and one
Mm.
ukulele.
What ukulele?
Yes.
My daughter plays the ukulele. I keep on telling her, Christmas time you got to learn how to do Mele Kalikimaka. We got to sing Mele Kalikimaka. But she said, it's so hard to learn how to play that. It's like, you're talented. Learn how to play it. And of course,
Yeah.
I know John Rendell out there. John Rendell is a big guitar guy himself.
Awesome.
And he and Fit for Hire, I know they talk a lot about, oops, wrong one there, talk about guitars and the working on guitars and making guitars. So,
Okay. Sweet. I would love to get with them at some points, John. I'd love to talk
mm-hmm,
guitar with you. In fact, put it in the chat what guitars you have because I'm curious now.
mm-hmm. And of course, come on in during an open mic. John Rendell's always there, and join in. And like it's what the open mic is for. Anybody to talk about? You guys can talk guitars all you want. And
Awesome.
I always find stuff like that fascinating. It's something I can learn more stuff about. Now,
Okay.
of course, you're a young lad, and what my package I'm sending to you is older than you are. I can
I
guarantee you
believe it.
that. 1990, 91 that was made, that uniform. So I doubt if you're that old back then. It's making
91.
it's
I'm only 27. I was born in 94.
94. So so it's about your age, not so bad there. So and what was how do you get into fandom? How do you get into actually not necessarily fandom, but your liking of Star Wars and such? What was your
Okay.
way in?
So for Star Wars, and I've told hello, Tim. Star Wars for me started when my parents brought home The Phantom Menace on VHS from the local rental store that we had at the time. And I fell in love with it just pure and simply for the lightsabers, specifically Darth Maul's lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
And then that continued on when I saw episode 2. And then, kind of between episodes 2 and 3, I saw the original trilogy and started to understand the story a little bit more. Then I saw episode 3. Mom and Dad, by the way, made me close my eyes at the moments where Anakin got burned. And then from there, that pretty much all sealed the deal on me being a Star Wars fan.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, for the longest time, those 6 movies were really all I had, and honestly, really all I needed as a Star Wars fan. I knew that there were books out there. I had maybe 1 or 2 different games. I knew about the Clone Wars, both the 2D and the 3D show, and I had seen bits and pieces of both, but I didn't necessarily feel as if I needed to go and see that. And then fast forward to 2015. John Rose says, would be great right now. I have a Fender 12 string, an Area Pro acoustic, Dean acoustic bass, Dean bass, Purple Squire bass, Korean made Epiphone Les Paul. Cool. A Hondo 2 Les Paul. All right. That's some nice stuff in there. I actually used to have a Fender 12 string also, but I ended up selling it because it was a small body 12 string and it sounded like a toy. and funny enough, I say funny, but this is actually a tragic story. That guitar and another one I sold along with it ended up going up in a gas explosion in the store I had sold it to.
Wow.
Yeah, this was back in 2020.
Wow. My.
Yeah. Thankfully, though, the business has managed to rebound, and they're in a new location, and they're still going strong.
Good. That's good. I think it's a business you like to go to quite a bit.
Oh, yes. I've bought quite a few different guitars from there. In fact, I currently have one on layaway there.
Mm-hmm. That was one that you kind of showed. Did you show that one? I can't remember if you showed that one.
I did post the video. I did post a video of me playing it today on Twitter. I'm gonna try and bring it up real quick.
Oh, sure.
So here it is, and I'll get back to the Star Wars story.
Definitely.
So here is the video of me. So this particular one, it's a PRS, and yeah. So that's just a little bit of it. That is a PRS John Mayer signature model. He calls it the Silver Sky. And yeah, I'm about halfway paid off on it.
Wow, that looks nice.
Thank you. So back to Star Wars. He says he's working on a special project for Doomcock, an Ibanez Iceman bass being customized, a Tesco Beetle bass being rebuilt, a Mexican Strat getting customized, and many parts from many other. Okay, I've started dabbling a little bit in guitar fixing too. In fact, as soon as I'm done with my Star Wars story, I'll go over the different guitars that I have.
Sure.
So, again, fast forward to 2015. By this time, I'm an adult, and I'm actually in the Navy by this point overseas in Bahrain, which, for those that don't know, Bahrain is a little Middle Eastern country. It's an island in the middle of the Persian Gulf that's connected to Saudi Arabia by a bridge. And I was there from 2014 to 2016. So during my time there was when The Force Awakens had come out. And I went and saw it in the theaters. That movie still holds the record for the most amount of times I have seen one movie in the theater. I think it's like 3 now.
Okay.
And so safe to say, when it came out, I liked it. But I still liked the original 6 more. Mm-hmm. Then came Rogue One, which I liked better than Force Awakens. And then came Last Jedi. By this time, I'm home. and I go and see it with my family. And suffice it to say, I didn't like that one very much. Although I do have an absolutely priceless story from when I went to go see it. So the Holdo maneuver scene. When we were sitting there in the theater, and right as the ship collides with Snoke's Star Destroyer, some idiot in the theater who was sitting slightly to the front and on the other side of the theater room says, "God is awesome" in Arabic. You should know what he's actually saying.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes this story funny is the fact that my dad was concealed carrying in the theater. So as soon as I hear that, I see my dad lean forward and his hand goes to the back of his hip. So thankfully nothing happened beyond that, but the fact that we literally came within that close.
Mm-hmm. You don't holler certain things in a crowded theater. Let's just put it that way. Fire and God is great.
Mm-hmm. In a certain language.
Right, exactly. And for people who need to know, that's German. No, I'm just kidding.
So anyways, it was around the time that The Last Jedi had been out in theaters that I started diving more and more into the Star Wars side of YouTube, because before this, like just before Force Awakens came out, was when I became aware of channels like Star Wars Theory, The Stupendous Wave, the channel that's now known as Star Wars Comics.
Mm-hmm.
But Last Jedi got me into more closer to our side of the community. People like Geeks and Gamers, people like Nerdrotic, people like Mauler. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to what they had to say about The Last Jedi. And at first I found that what they were saying, basically they were putting words to this gut negative feeling that I had about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I will fully admit, I think I listened to them a little bit too much, because I pretty much just copy and pasted their opinions as my own.
Mm-hmm.
Because of this, I did not see Solo in the theaters. I didn't catch that until it came out on DVD, and it was in the $5 bargain bin. Mm-hmm. And that one I thought was okay, but certainly not anything stupendous.
Right.
And then I go and see The Rise of Skywalker in theaters. And that movie, of course, is an absolute mess, but at the same time, I think it's my favorite of the sequel trilogy movies.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Just because simply from the fact that I respect that they tried to listen to the fan complaints about The Last Jedi and fix it. The problem is they overcorrected and made it even more of a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And of course, in the midst of all of that, I got into The Mandalorian, saw season 1 and liked it a lot. Season 2, liked it a lot. And around that time is when I find Echo Base Network. And I start following them. And then, of course, the Gina Carano stuff happens. All the rumors of the Lucasfilm Civil War are in full swing. And that's around the time, especially thanks to Echo Base Network, that I decide to create my channel, which originally was going to be called Paul the Star Wars Guy, and it would have just been me. But as it is now, it's the Star Wars Guys, and it's me and my two brothers, Michael and Jonathan.
And they're just as fanatical for Star Wars as you are.
They do. Yes, they absolutely are. I agree with what John Rendell says here. There's only one Star Wars, and George Lucas was its prophet or director. I agree. In fact, this kind of segues into something that I wanted to share tonight. I actually have a song that I've written kind of conveying my sentiments on what I think of Disney Star Wars right now. Okay. So let me get my stuff adjusted here. So for those that are familiar with John Mayer, he, of course, probably his most famous song, at least that I know of, is a song called Slow Dancing in a Burning Room. And I took that song and made a parody of it. Basically, I wrote my own lyrics to the same tune. So this is Slow Dancing in a Burning Room, a Disney Star Wars parody, and I did just release a video of this song on my channel. So here it is. It's just a silly little franchise. It's not the tale I used to know. It's not that timeless old story. They abandoned it long ago. It may have started out strongly. I can't believe what I now see. But Disney Star Wars now is only a stage of mediocrity. It's empty now. Wish it just wasn't true. It's empty now. Disney, can you see too? You see we're slow dancing in a burning room. Now I'm not saying I hate Star Wars. It's been a lifelong joy, you see. But something clearly is going wrong here. It's like it's not made for me. And even though I like Mando, everything else has left me cold. Be it Boba or Kenobi or the sequels, let me tell you, this frustration's got old. It's empty now. Wish it just wasn't true. It's empty now. Disney, can't you see too? You see we're slow dancing in a burning room. Do better, Star Wars, why don't you? Do better, Star Wars, why don't you? Do better, Disney, why don't you? You see we're slow dancing in a burning room. Think I ought to know by now. I guess I should learn somehow. Think I'd ought to know by now. I guess I should have learned somehow. Think I ought to know by now. I guess I should have learned somehow. Think I ought to know by now. I guess I should have learned somehow.
Very good, very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
John Rendell already loved the song as you were going in there already, so that's not bad, not bad at all.
Thank you.
Doomcock needs to hire you on to be one of his songwriters.
I would love that, but the thing is, it's extremely rare that I actually do write a song because it's rare that I get the inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But basically when I'm in the zone, I try and capitalize on it as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely.
Funny enough, that song, because the melody, as I said, since it's already recorded to a certain melody, that part of the work is done. I just had to come up with the lyrics, which I was lucky enough to be able to do that in just an afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And John Rendell, to answer your question, yes, this is an Ovation guitar. And I guess we can start the guitar showcase now.
There we go.
This particular one is one that I've had since 2015. It, for those that are not familiar with Ovations, what makes them unique is the way that the back and sides are constructed.
Wow.
So it's made round in the back, and it's made with this special material called Lyracord. It's a fiberglass type material.
Okay.
The history behind this is Charles Kaman, around 1965 or so, had originally designed this material to be used with helicopter blades because it apparently this material vibrates in a certain way that's beneficial for the rotation of a propeller.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Kaman was also a jazz guitarist in his spare time and thought that the vibration and the properties of this material would also make for a good material to make guitars. And he decided also to give it the round design because he figured that the sound would flow more naturally in a round shape than it is in a box. Mm-hmm. So I believe the first Ovation guitars came out around 1966, 67. And in the late 60s, and especially in the 70s, everyone who was anyone back then played these guitars. Glen Campbell, Jerry Reed, Nancy Wilson, Roy Clark, pretty much anyone in the folk, country, pop sort of stuff played these.
And you're listing off some giants there. I mean, absolute giants.
Absolutely. And this whole design here, that's another invention by this company, because acoustic guitars that have the ability to plug into a loud PA system, if you turn them up too much, they tend to feedback on themselves, and it just creates this really, really annoying hum sound. And on ordinary acoustic guitars that have the sound, just one sound hole here, the way to counteract that is put a cover on it. But Ovation designed the sound holes to be broken up and put them to the sides as a more natural way to counteract that. So that's the story on this one. As I said, I've had this since 2015. This one's actually been repaired because I actually dropped this one once and cracked it right here.
Oh, no.
But I was able to take it into a repair shop and get this fixed. It's a bad scar, but it's solid now. And I put a new electronic system in it recently. It's and yeah, it's back in good playing condition. And John Rendell, saying only problem with Ovation is the round back is difficult. They make a special contoured back where is it? This section of the guitar is actually caved in a little bit to allow for more comfortable playing, especially when sitting. So that's one. The next one I have here behind me is kind of by default my newest guitar, and this one's a hybrid. You've seen this one before.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the Fender Acoustasonic Stratocaster. This one is a hybrid between an acoustic guitar and an electric guitar, specifically the Stratocaster model that Fender is known for. This came out in 2020. I've had this one since around Christmas of this past Christmas. And what's cool about this is plugging it in, it has a program inside that allows it to emulate different famous acoustic tones, from your big bluegrass style guitars, which I'll showcase actually next, to more small body guitars that you would finger pick, to it has a body sensor pickup in here in case you're one that likes to like tap on your guitars, and it has an electric guitar pickup in here. So I call this the jack of all trades, master of none, because it can do all of the sounds passably, but admittedly you're going to get a much better sound out of a true acoustic or a true electric. So that is that. And I actually have to get up for a second. So I will be right back to get these other two. So
very, very nice collection so far.
Thank you. I'm basically grabbing everything else that I have. It's about to get very crowded around me.
When we bring our toys out, it always ends up that way, I find out. It's like...
Oh, I just bumped something. That's not good. All right, we're good.
Oh, good.
And
good.
I am back.
We didn't need to have another guitar repair.
No, thank goodness, no. All right, so this one is the most special guitar out of all the ones I have. This is a Martin D HD28, and this is a guitar I inherited from my grandfather. My grandfather was one that he was the one that taught me how to play guitar way back when I was 4 years old. And funny enough, I actually wrote a song commemorating him back in 2012. I'll probably sing it for you after the collection's done.
Sure, yes, definitely.
But yeah, this is one that if I was in a burning building and could only rescue one guitar, as much as I would like to rescue every single one of these, if I could only rescue one, this would be it, because this is just that special. It's the oldest guitar in my collection as far as the ones that are in active use.
Mm-hmm.
And there's really nothing more that can be said about it. As I said, this particular body shape is pretty much your stereotypical acoustic guitar, good for anything from finger picking to, bluegrass stuff like, I'm a little bit rusty on my bluegrass, but
it still sounded good.
Thank you. And John Rendell, I've actually been to the Martin factory. I went for my 25th birthday back in 2019 and saw how they make these, and it is really, really cool. In fact, anyone that is into guitar, even if you don't play Martin guitars, I would highly, highly recommend go to the Martin factory and see how these things are made. It is amazing.
About how old is that guitar?
2000.
2000?
Year 2000. So here's the next one. And this one is very similar to the one I just showed. It's also a Martin. But this one is unique because it's a 12-string.
Uh-huh.
And what's different about 12 strings is... I just went blurry there for a second. 12 strings... On a normal guitar, your fingers are touching 6 individual strings. But with a 12-string, you can see here, they're touching 6 pairs of strings. Mm-hmm. And these top 4 pairs here, the strings are tuned an octave apart from each other. So here is what that sounds like. John Reynolds trolling. I'm sorry, man. Don't get it all over your shirt.
Too late. I know him.
Here's what a 12-string sounds like. And a lot of famous, especially rock and roll intros have been recorded on a 12-string. I'll give you a quick example of one now. This is probably my favorite intro to play now on a 12-string. Here we go.
Very nice.
There for you.
Very nice. I know that Glen Campbell was kind of a master of the 12-string guitar.
Yes, he was.
The Kingston Trio used his expertise on their later years when they were out there, and then of course when he was by himself, it was like amazing.
Yes, and again, if you want to see Glen Campbell at his absolute best on a 12-string, look up any live performance of his doing the William Tell Overture. on an electric 12-string.
That
he does not miss a note.
No, not at all. He was such a great talent. We
lost
such a great talent.
Oh crap!
And,
and
I know that a little bit of a plug for, and I'm not getting paid for this, but Shout Factory, they got the Glen Campbell Good Time show that you had in the 70s on there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I noticed John and the old man have mentioned a double neck in the chat.
Twin neck.
I would love to have a double neck, especially a double neck acoustic, because you don't know this unless you see him do it live, but Richie Sambora, the original guitarist for Bon Jovi, here, I'll even demonstrate. You know the intro to Wanted Dead or Alive that goes like this? That was done on an acoustic double neck. And he wanted the 6-string part just so he could get his harmonics, this part here. And then come down to the 12-string and just go, and then hit that intro.
Wow.
So I love 12 strings, but the problem is it is hard to find a 12-string that is comfortable to play. Thankfully, I have found that with this one, but I probably owned more 12 strings than I have 6 strings by this point, just trying to find the one that hits that good balance between one that's comfortable to play, but one that also sounds good. As I said earlier, I had a small body Fender 12-string that felt great and played great, but it sounded like a toy. On the opposite end of the scale, I've had multiple 12 strings that sounded like an absolute cannon, and it hurt my hands to play.
So it's kind of the hands themselves trying to do the finger work that's the problem that makes it uncomfortable.
Exactly. So here's the ukulele. This is another one that I've had since 2015. I was actually loaning this to my sister for the longest time, but I just told you before the stream I helped her move into her own apartment, and she couldn't take this in the move, so she gave it back to me.
Oh, okay.
And I am not nearly as good a ukulele player as I am a guitar player. Like, I can do like just simple chords like that. But yeah, I have a lot to learn to get this up to the proficiency of guitar.
Get it up to tiptoe through the tulips.
Oh, I can do here's this one. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby.
Very good. Very nice. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Arthur Godfrey that played the ukulele, if I remember right.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
And then here's the last one.
The old timers will know that one.
So this, as of right now, is the only electric guitar that I have, and it is not functioning because the electronics in it, unfortunately, have gone bad. But this is a kit electric guitar that I built my senior year of high school as my senior project. For those that know guitars, this is clearly supposed to be a Telecaster. I probably got this for like $100 off Amazon back in 2012. It was just barely playable back then, and even then the electronics didn't work all the way. I still have it because I want to get it back in playing condition, but it just keeps getting put on the back burner more and more. So hopefully one day I can get this working, but we will see what happens.
You think with your knowledge now, have you grown an expertise in guitars that you think you can make it sound better?
Oh, yeah.
The right electronics? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not a matter of know-how at this point. It's honestly a matter of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that always the case? Money, 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 money.
Oh yes,
money.
yes. So let me take a quick second to put some of these guitars away and
Sure,
not have them all over the place.
And of course,
you'll still hear me though as I'm doing this.
You probably hear a guitar or two go twang back in there. It's always great to see talent like that. That's especially that 12 string. That sounded beautiful.
Thank
and
you.
What you need to do is learn how to do the Eagles' Journey of the Sorcerer, even though that's more of a banjo than the guitar. But I know they.
I can't play banjo. I have tried. What trips me up, honestly, is the stuff you do with your right hand, like the 3-finger rolls. I cannot do that.
Okay. Just not able to grit that.
Yeah. It's just something that maybe if I had learned on banjo first, I might be able to do it, but it's just not in me.
And I want to say hi to Low Spec Linux Laptop. Welcome to the show. Good to see you.
Yep. And Low Spec is right. 7 strings are extremely popular right now. In fact, my best friend Ian, he owns 2 of them, and he prefers overall 7-string guitars to 6 strings.
So,
so 7-string guitar, normal 6 strings are tuned for those that know musical notes. From the bottom, they're tuned E, B, G, D, A, E. Those are each notes. A 7-string adds a lower note to the top of that, a low B. And you can do way deeper chord voicings on that than you can a normal guitar, unless you like tune it way down. Personally, I don't have a use for a 7-string, but I do, in the hands of someone that knows what they're doing, they do sound absolutely amazing.
Huh. See, I never even knew there was a 7-string, so I mean that shows how ignorant I am in there.
I am not kidding, and I'm gonna pull up a picture to prove it. There exists a 20-string guitar.
Holy cow!
So this was made specifically for a YouTuber. His name is Stevie T. Anyone that's especially into the metal community probably knows who this is. And here is the absolute behemoth that was made for him.
Holy Moses! Whoa!
Yes, and he's not the only one. Here's another guy, Jared Dines. He also has a 20-string guitar that has the Mountain Dew logo on it for whatever.
Yeah. How do you place it? That almost looks like a ship out of Warhammer 40K. I mean,
honestly, at that point, you can just barely here's another picture of Stevie with his. You're struggling to play that normally. You almost have to figure out a completely unique way to play that, like tapping on the strings and such.
Wow. It's
certainly nothing that I could do.
No. Yeah, it's like John says, put keys on it and call it a piano.
Essentially. Oh, and John Rendell is right. The guy with the 4-necked guitar. Oh, that's nothing. Rick Nielsen, a Cheap Trick, plays 5 necks. And I'll show you that real quick.
This almost sounds like a one-upmanship amongst guitar players.
It kind of is, especially in 80s rock and metal. That was all one-upsmanship. Here's Rick Nielsen with his 5-neck guitar. He's from the band Cheap Trick. And then the 4-neck guitar that John was talking about, that's a guy by the name of Michelangelo Badio. He was of the speed metal band Nitro, and it literally looks like an X-Wing. His 4-neck guitar.
Holy cow.
Yes. And he is, I've seen videos of him play. He is ambidextrous enough to literally play basically both sides of that guitar at the same time. We were literally doing this across both fretboards.
Now, if he had 2 more arms, he could get the other ones going.
Exactly. Literally turn it into General Grievous, you know?
Yeah. General Kenobi.
Mm-hmm. How did I get so blurry again? Good Lord.
Your camera's been drinking. That's probably why.
Yeah, my camera doesn't like it when I get up and move around a whole lot. Let me try. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. The only way that I know that can clear it up is if I unhook my camera, but I don't want to risk that because it might get me disconnected.
Yeah, you were having problems the other night there with Tuesday. Hello, hey, whoa, hey.
That did absolutely nothing.
3D effects are brought to you by Master Paul of the
Yes.
his guitar shop and guitar pick museum. So
yes, every guitarist knows you can never have too many guitar picks, which most of mine are special because mine have a hole in them, which helps add for extra grip.
Okay. Very good.
All right. Well, I promised you that song that I wrote about my grandfather.
Yes.
As I said, I wrote this in 2012. Oh my goodness, I really look blurry now. All right, you know what? I gotta do something about that. Give me a second.
We're gonna give him a second here because it looks like I've been day drinking. That's when I take a look at that. So we'll just take him out of that. Holy pick Batman. Exactly, John. Now, of course, I want to welcome everybody here to Buried After Dark. Of course, we have Paul of the Star Wars guys.
There we go.
As you know, there we go. Hey, you look clearer now.
Yeah, I just had my ring light got turned off. There it is.
So that stopped the intervention that they're going to do about me if I was seeing that blur there. So.
And hello also to Echo Base Network. Echo
Base.
That has to be Coach. Nick wouldn't say that.
Hey, Coach.
Unless I'm wrong.
You are, Coach. Good to see you.
Also, Coach, that song that I sent you that super chat about, that is now live on my channel. In fact, I tagged you in it on Twitter. But anyways, here's the song that I wrote about my grandfather. It's called He Taught Me Everything. I've learned so much throughout my life. So many people have helped me so many times. All of them willing to teach me and give me hope. But of them, my granddaddy is who I looked up to the most. 'Cause he taught me everything that I now know about life. About music, about baseball and riding bikes. He taught me about Jesus and how he cares. One day I know I'll see him in glory way up there. He was always so full of happiness and life. He often talked, laughed, and joked with me just to pass the time. He was a preacher, the best I've ever known. now he's up in heaven singing around the master's throne. Well, sure I miss him and it hurts so much. Wishing with him I could have had more time. But I know he's happy where he's at right now. All that I can do down here is keep his memory alive. And when I finally travel my last mile, I can almost picture it. I'll see him with a big smile. I'll run to him, but he'll run faster than me. And then I'll hug him and tell him I missed him. I promise you that's how it's going to be. 'Cause he taught me everything that I now know about life. About music, about baseball and riding bikes. He taught me about heaven and now he's there. And one day I know I'll see him in the meeting in the air. Yes, one day I know I'll see him in glory way up there. He was my best friend.
Bravo, bravo.
Thank you.
Great song, great song. And you said you had that on iTunes or something out there? People can.
I do, yes. That is so far the only song that I have ever professionally recorded. It is on iTunes. Just look up "He Taught Me Everything" by, as I'm known on iTunes, PJ Strassner.
Okay, great. That's very good. I know I've heard you play that song before, but it's still a great song to listen to.
Thank you.
And well, John Rendell, of course, fully agrees. So we were talking about before your journey into geekdom earlier, and of course going through with the you're finding out you're going through the sequel trilogy, of course, The Mandalorian and such. Would you consider yourself more of a Star Wars person and a science fiction person, or do you start feeling that was opening doors up to other franchises, other science fiction that's out there?
Star Wars will always, as far as sci-fi goes, Star Wars will always be my first love, even if I fall out of love with specifically Disney Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always sort of neglected other aspects of sci-fi, and I justified that with basically saying, well, why bother go looking for anything else? I have Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm starting to broaden my horizons, and honestly, that's thanks to all the friends that I've made on YouTube. For example, our mutual friend, the Nerdporeal Lifeform, him and Doomcock and Robert Meyer Burnett sort of inspired me to get into Star Trek for the first time, which also I found that at the time free on Amazon Prime. And then there's also The List, and I'm sure you're aware of The List, right?
I've seen that list.
So for those that don't know, there's a list, a very long list of famous sci-fi, action, pretty much fill in the blank, whatever genre type of movie that I have never seen. And a lot of, especially when this list started, what was on that list would have shocked you. Like, go back and watch Coach's reaction to it, watch Doomcock's reaction to it. In fact, go back and watch the stream where it was first created and look at the chat. People are just shocked. Oh my God, you've never seen Top Gun. Oh my God, you've never seen The Matrix. Oh my God, you've never seen Rambo. And of course, I'm using examples of movies I have seen now.
Right.
And that list gave birth to another list of the movies that I had seen from the first list that were ranked. And my favorite moments of, by the way, when I was on Doomcock's channel, was seeing his reaction to the fact that at the time I liked Matrix Revolutions more than I liked The Matrix.
Oh, I could see him going bonkers over that.
It was priceless. Anyone that has not seen that, I'm sure he's got it somewhere on his channel. Go watch it. It is just gold.
The button was almost pressed, folks. And so, and of course, what's actually, for me, it was, I hesitate to say entertaining, but I'm finding, I suppose I can sit back and say I'm finding joy is watching you experiencing all these things for the first time. And in many ways, I have to sit back and say I'm envious, because I would love to experience a lot of these for the first time again, because many of these I had seen in the theaters, many of these I had seen on cable. Knowing that Ghostbusters and Gremlins came out on the same day in 1984.
Really?
Yes,
even I didn't know that.
Yeah, they came out on the same day. And can you just imagine that? And that was the day, back in the day, we were just hopping from one theater to another theater when I was young, and especially in the summertime. And so it's like, okay, we'll see 2010, then we'll see Octopussy, or For Your Eyes Only. We'll go see of course, Ghostbusters and Gremlins, or Indiana Jones. It's like after a while you lose track of exactly what year it was, because it was just one giant flow of running to the theater and experiencing it for the first time. And so, I mean, watching you go through this is, I find an absolute joy, and like I said, envious, because I mean, what was your first experience when you actually did sit down? What was the first thing you watched of Star Trek? Do you remember?
Of Star Trek, the original series.
Okay, so from basically the first episode.
Yeah, a lot of people, and including some people that we talked to on Tuesday Night Trek, could have made the case that I could have started timeline wise with Enterprise, but I wanted to go in release order and basically see where it truly started with the original series. And I'm glad I did that, because seeing now, because we're in the middle of season 4 of The Next Generation, we're about to get, I believe Deep Space Nine started at the same time as season 5 of The Next Generation, right?
About then, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Seeing how far we've come and how far Star Trek had come at that point compared to the original series was amazing. And as much as I like The Next Generation, nothing beats the absolute magic that was Kirk, Spock, and McCoy together.
Right. I mean, people talk about the sets and the special effects, which actually at that time was pretty good, but it was the characters and the people that were playing the characters and that drew you in. And yeah, you're going the right path. I mean, going with the original series. Did you watch the animators as well? Yep.
No, actually, we didn't. We instead went for the fan-made Star Trek Continues series.
Okay.
I wanted to cover the animated series before getting into the movies, but Spock, Nerdporial, and Brandon the Anime Guy, they sort of talked me into going Star Trek Continues. And then Star Trek Continues at the end pretty much transitioned so well to the movies. Yes, Coach was there. That list, by the way, if you want to know how shocking that list was, that list made Coach lose his mind to the point that he thought he was the brother of Doomcock, known as Broomcock. Go back and watch it on the Legendary Tron's channel. I believe it was his first chill stream. That was just another golden moment that you had to be there for.
Gonna have to catch that. So, and what did you think of Vic's interpretation of Star Trek?
I mean, it was a bit of an adjustment to get used to the new casting and the new voices. But once I got over that, it was as if, it was the show the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, you had Grant from Rest of His Soul from what's that show? Oh, they always do the or whatever, but Grant Amara, he was there playing Sulu. Of course, you had
Yeah,
Chris Doohan doing Scotty, so he was playing
playing
his own
his
father
yeah.
on there, which was such a nice touch on that one.
Yeah,
And did you ever catch the other one, Phase Two?
I did not.
Okay, I don't know if you saw Jim Carley's one or not. So because I think both of them are very well done. Both of them have
Okay,
a
yeah.
good touch to them.
But
So
yeah, then that of course led to the movies.
mhm.
And I'm sure you know what my chat looks like now with a certain Phil McCracken saying #justice for Star Trek 5.
Yeah.
My true thoughts on Star Trek 5, honestly, it's a comedy movie. And
Hmm.
from that standpoint, I can enjoy it. Is it a
Right.
good Star Trek movie? Not really, but it is an
Mhm.
amazing comedy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I loved, I loved the new bridge that they had on there. I thought the bridge was great, great set. I love that little lounge they had, but yeah, they needed a lot more work. Shatner didn't exactly have the, um, I don't know, the vision. You might say that, like Nimoy
Yeah.
did when he did his two outings of Star Trek. So, uh,
Yeah, there's just a bunch of stuff that like obvious like the god stuff aside at that point that's just part of the joke.
hmm
That fight scene though with Kirk and the cat lady in that
yeah,
bar just was weird.
wasn't it though? And here we are on a desert planet where water is so valuable. So we have a pool table filled with water, and we'll throw a cat, a six-breasted cat, into it. It's like,
Yes.
what
Oh,
the heck?
not to mention Ahura dancing and singing with palm trees.
Right? Where do you get the palms from? Where do they come from?
Yes.
Nichelle Nichols though wanted to do that. She wanted to. She said she worked out for that part, and she wanted to show off what she at her age at that time what she looked like. So,
Yeah.
which of course we didn't mind. We didn't mind at all.
Yeah, fair enough.
Cats. Thank you,
That's
John.
funny.
He's our resident punster.
I like
So
that.
now, of course, I know that we've been talking actually on Tuesday Night Trek about once we're done with Star Trek to move into another series,
Babylon 5.
Babylon 5.
Yes.
Yes.
Which I know zero about. In fact,
Oh,
I'll be
this
honest, until I discovered Echo Base Network, I didn't even know Babylon 5 existed until I heard Coach and Nick talking about it.
it's in Valen. Yeah, there we go. I mean, that is gonna be a fun ride for you. I can't wait till we can do that one because I just love that show. It's
Yeah,
I think it's one of the few TV shows where I actually have the entire series plus on it.
really?
Hmm. All
Wow.
5 seasons, all the movies, the follow up series. Then they did a movie for Sci-Fi Channel, Legends of the Rangers. Of course, the follow up series was Crusade, and then Tales of I think it was the Tales of Babylon 5, which was direct to video that he made. And then I even have the CNN interviews, raw footages that they had. They found one of the guys that was working for CNN back in the day when the original pilot movie came out, and then the first season of Babylon 5 came out. They were obviously on the set, interviewing people, and this guy had all the raw footage from that, and they released that on DVD, and I had to get that.
Okay.
So it's a fun trip back through time,
Yeah,
and
I'm definitely intrigued to get into that.
what are
Especially especially kind of and as I sung before, with my parody song, that's probably the one thing that I'm craving the most that I'm not getting with Star Wars. In fact, I tried to make a car video earlier today because I had to go over to the next city over to run some errands.
mm-hmm.
And I tried to make a car video, but unfortunately the noise of the road pretty much drowned my voice out. But I was talking about sort of the same thoughts that I put into the song that I sang at the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Is Disney Star Wars even really for me anymore? And I'm coming more and more to the realization, not really, because I'm finding myself more and more craving not just sci-fi, but just entertainment in general that makes me think.
Right.
And I'm not getting that with Disney Star Wars. And like compared to, say, what we just covered on Tuesday Night Trek, the episode The Wounded, the
Right.
speech specifically that Chief O'Brien has with that Cardassian sitting there in 10 forward, where he's recounting the battle that happened, how he had to take his first life, and then he closes it by saying, "It's not you that I hate, Cardassian. It's what I became because of you." That is so powerful and will stick with me for far longer than anything I have seen, with maybe the exception of Luke returning in Mando Season 2. It'll stick with me far longer than anything Disney Star Wars has made.
Well, as you can see what the quality of the writing was back then, and how far we've fallen. And what makes it sad is the people that have worked on these are apologists for the new stuff as well. And it's like, no, just because they're doing something with the name of a show that you did doesn't mean that you have to validate it.
Exactly.
If it's not up to snuff, don't be afraid to say so. Someone needs to be that kid saying the emperor's wearing no clothes.
Yeah. And right now that job seems to have fallen to us, and by us I mean the YouTubers in general, at least the ones that aren't bought out.
Right, us toxic people,
toxic people.
Exactly, all the stuff that we get throwing names at, and
I haven't been labeled toxic yet, but the day that it happens, I'm gonna laugh because, come on, me of all people, toxic. those that on here know me.
Well, yeah, I mean, you and Coach and others out there, it's like, how can you sit back and say these people are toxic? You're the guys are the nicest people around out there. You're passionate, but you're the nicest people there is, and just because you're not walking in lockstep doesn't mean that that you're horrible, mean, and rotten, and hate certain segments of society.
Yeah,
and it doesn't hit the Star Wars. Colonel Sanders at one time was pretty good, John.
He was
at one time.
But I will never. But for real, unless I'm that hungry, I will never eat KFC again after working there for 2 days.
You only lasted 2? I worked there for a year, but that was back in 1984.
83. So here's the story behind that. So this was during my senior year of high school. When they hired me, they told me that they were getting into the slow season because school had just started back up, and they weren't kidding. That second day that I worked there was like a good stretch of at least 30 minutes where there was no one at the drive-thru and no one in the dining room. So most of that time was spent either cleaning or elbow deep in this giant vat of their coleslaw, scooping it into those to-go cups. And I was never a fan of coleslaw to begin with, but after that, no.
You were coleslawed out. Never again.
Mm-hmm.
I worked there for about a year, but I had to quit because the cleaning solvent was eating my feet away, so I couldn't work there. I had to go somewhere. Yeah, that wasn't good. So I went to Godfather.
What were they using? Turpentine?
Something like that, and whatever it was back in the gentle stuff that we had back in 1983. Whatever chemical that came from the glowing factories that we have out there. So, and I just want to say hi to Leah Rose. Welcome to the show, as well as DJ Ronnie G. He's in the house as well. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Is there something out there particularly you're kind of I can't wait to kind of jump into, other than Babylon 5, that is, or you wanting to experience?
Cobra Kai season 5, of course. Whatever Sonic the Hedgehog 3 comes out with. But honestly, as far as things new, really nothing. It's not just Disney Star Wars that I'm jaded on. Like, I could not care less at this point about any superhero movie because I'm superheroed out completely. As far as Marvel goes, I think Endgame should have been the end. Like, just take a break for a while and then perhaps come out with a new story. But yeah, with the exception of Spider-Man No Way Home, which I saw that only for Toby and Andrew, I haven't seen anything Marvel since Endgame. And the only DC movie that I have seen in the theater since Justice League, the 2016 version, is The Batman.
Okay.
And it was all right, but it was long.
Yeah, what was it, 3 hours or so? Or...
Yes. Which there's only one 3-hour movie I can sit through and not feel that 3 hours, and that's pretty much any of the Lord of the Rings special editions.
There we go. Exactly. You get to the end, it's like, you're stopping now?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, can we keep going?
Compared to the Batman's like, okay, this is the end. Oh, wait, no, there's more? Okay, this is the end. There's still more? Okay, are we at the end now? Please.
Please be the end. Please stop. Please quit hurting me.
Yes. Also, something about Catwoman mentioning white privilege.
Oh, yeah. And that's just it. I mean, it's the fact that you put a message into a film is how you do it. And they don't know how to do it. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
And, I have no problem with messages in movies. It's how you do it. It's a talent. It's all the writing. Even if I don't agree with it, if you have it to approach where, you can even think about afterwards. It's like, okay, interesting take. And that's what people sometimes want to have. Not the, I'm going to hit you over the head with a sledgehammer until you agree with me type of thing. And that's what we have for films now.
Yeah, it is. And even then, it's not only that, but it's also, and this has become my biggest thing with Star Wars, it's also that they're not good by any stretch of the means, but at the same time, they're also, with a few exceptions, not raging bad. It's usually that they're just crushingly, as my friend Coffee on Korriban said, aggressively mediocre, but with a few nice moments sprinkled in.
Right.
And that more and more is it's being revealed to me. That to me is what Disney Star Wars is overall.
Right. And, as it goes, as people sit back and say, whether you like them or not, Disney Star Wars isn't real Star Wars because it's not done by George Lucas. He's made it known that. Anything that was under Lucas's control is real Star Wars. Anything else, whether it's, what it is, isn't Lucas Star Wars. So, and yeah, I mean, there's good stuff out there. There's bad stuff. And there's, as you said, aggressively mediocre. Yes. I like that. I got to remember that one. I'm going to steal that one. It's
okay.
Like a good
I can't
meme.
take credit
like
for
a
it.
Good meme. I know you can't take
again.
Credit,
that's Coffee on Korriban.
Coffee on Korriban.
You need to get him on here at some point.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, Coffee, I just stole one of your things. You have to come on here and answer. Make me answer for it. How's that sound? See how I work. Now, when it comes around to reading, are you a bit of a reader?
I used to be. I'm trying my absolute best to get into it, but lately I have a hard time keeping my attention span on it. Although, again, kind of because of what we've been getting from Disney Star Wars, that has finally given me the sufficient kick in the pants to dive into, and I have the first one around here somewhere, to dive into these.
Okay.
In general, because 90% of the EU I am completely ignorant to. Like, I know in general, I know the major story points of what happens with Darth Revan. I know who Thrawn is, but beyond that, I really don't know. So books, games, comic books, I'm going to start delving into the EU. And if it ever gets to the point where I will where I just want to shut out Disney Star Wars entirely, even on my channel, that's where, at least for me, my focus will put. I'm not going to speak for Michael and Jonathan on that. They may still want to cover it, and of course, Big Brother, I'm going to do it with them. But this, Star Wars wise, is what really has me excited now.
Oh, and you're going to go right down a rabbit hole of just wonderful stories, and there's going to be some horrible ones in there. I'll tell you that. Not all EU was good. The one thing I do have to recommend, especially if you like Han Solo, is, and this is not a shot at Ann Crispin, AC Crispin, because she did a Han Solo trilogy, but find the 3-book set of Brian Daley's Han Solo. Han Solo at Star End, Han Solo Revenge, and Han Solo The Lost Legacy. I mean, they're fast, nice reads, and I tell you, you read that and you feel like you're in the Star Wars experience all the way through. In fact, Brian Daley was the one that wrote the audio play for NPR. And George Lucas considered the audio play this much below canon. He loved it so much. Right. And if you can get the audio,
that is incredible.
Yeah, if you can find the audio play, definitely listen to them, because Lucas was very, very happy with those. And I tell you,
by the way,
better backstories.
Did I tell you that I've met Timothy Zahn? Yeah, this was this past May. At the International Collectors Commissary Convention in Nashville, the big Echo Base Network meetup. Yes, the same meetup where the fight against Mexican Iron Man happened, and I was utterly embarrassed. But I met him with a group of our fellow community members there. It was me, Lord Crit, Felix Kiros, Darth Arlena, and some other people that I'm not remembering right now. And not only was he kind enough to take a big group picture of all of us, but he also stood there for a good 10 minutes or so just talking with us. And he broke down the psyche of Grand Admiral Thrawn and the approach that he took to writing him. And the one thing that he said was, the key thing is, not only do you have to make Thrawn this super intelligent tactical genius, but you have to make the rebels also very competent at their jobs too. Otherwise, Thrawn just seems overpowering.
Right. Yeah, and that's just it. Tim Zahn is such a nice guy. He will do that. He'll just sit there and talk. And
I wish I had thought to bring this with me, because I know he would have signed this for free.
Oh yeah, he would have, in a heartbeat. Boom, like that. I got all my originals all signed by him. So. From the EU, and it's the first time I met him was back in '98. So talking about a long time ago. Was in Madison. Yep. It was actually more Babylon 5 leaning convention, but of course they had him there, and they had for dinner, and the former long suffering and I actually sat at his table for the dinner. And so we're all sitting around talking. It was kind of a surreal thing. So here we are sitting. There's a guy sitting across from me dressed like a Centauri from Babylon 5 with the hair all spiked up. And Harlan Ellison was also there, if you're familiar with Harlan Ellison.
No.
And, we have to get you introduced to Harlan Ellison.
Okay.
And Harlan Ellison is running around from one table to another table with guava paste. And he goes, hey, what you got to do is you got to have a little bit of guava paste and an equal amount of cream cheese, and you have it. And he's going from one table to the other. We turn around and tell Timothy's on. He said, when he does do that to you, tell him that it tastes like chicken. And so they come over there, and he puts it on there and gives it, and Tim's on, eats it, and then okay. And Harlan's all happy, goes off the other table, and we just turned on Timothy Zahn with yesterday's burrito, and we're going, why did you do that? He goes, don't you understand? Harlan Ellison had a knife. He was cutting with a knife. Yeah, because he's cutting everything. Goes, I wasn't going to say that because Harlan had a knife. And I said, no, you're wrong, Tim. I said, he had 2 knives.
that would have been amazing to see.
Actually, that story of the guava paste is actually written in a book by Peter David. About I think it's Mr. Sulu grabbed my ass or touched my ass. I think it's the name of the book, and it's actually recounted in the guava paste story in that book.
Wow.
Not particularly what we had, but that situation, but just the situations that were involved around the big guava paste situation in Madison, Wisconsin, 1998.
That is incredible.
But we're gonna have to introduce you to some Harlan Ellison, definitely.
Okay. So I take it he wasn't. So I take it he was in Babylon 5, right?
Oh well, he was. Well, actually, he made a couple appearances in Babylon 5. He was the creative consultant to the show for JMS, and but he was known for one of the and you probably saw that the City on the Edge of Forever from the original Star Trek.
Yes.
That was his edited down story that he had a big fight with Gene Roddenberry about. And
why would Gene Roddenberry fight that story?
That is legendary story because what Harlan Ellison submitted and what was filmed was heavily edited down and changed because they said they couldn't do it financially. I think that was the big thing, and it was just Roddenberry was just getting his hands into stuff on that one, and it had basically a feud till the day Roddenberry died between those two men.
Oh.
And oh yeah, I mean Harlan was not one to let go of a grudge, and believe it or not, same thing with Roddenberry. And
I believe it. I mean, look at how he thought of the Wrath of Khan.
Right, exactly, because he didn't have any control in it. And and just for the thing, this is for a 35-year-old book on a 35-year retrospect, so 6 years. This is his like short stories and such that he had. He was very prolific in writing, and it was called The Essential Ellison. And it's kind of hard to find now, but if you can find it, it's a great one. But there's many books out there by Harlan. Of course, you can find him on the YouTube. He's passed away now, unfortunately, but he was quite the character. So
wow.
Mm-hmm. And he was one of those that knew everybody type of thing. So
okay.
But yeah, Tim Zahn is a great guy. I'm glad you got a chance to meet him, and in I just kind of interesting to wonder what he thinks of with the new canon and how they brought it back, because they kind of brought Thrawn back without his knowledge.
We actually, I didn't ask this, but Darth Arlena did, and basically he said as long as it's Dave Filoni handling Thrawn, then we're okay. If it's Disney, the big corporation, handling Thrawn, we're in trouble. Unfortunately, where my headspace is at with Star Wars, they're one and the same.
Unfortunately, right now, I agree. I think he's drinking. I think he's drank the Kool-Aid.
I think so too. Yeah. Unfortunately.
And hail, Salty Texas C. Good to see you.
Hey, here. Buddy.
Yeah.
Haven't spoken to you since our stream together, talking Fellowship of the Ring and Two Towers with Nerdporial.
What was your impression of Lord of the Rings? Obviously, you liked it. I mean, that goes without saying.
I saw Fellowship of the Ring when it first came out on VHS and DVD, and I didn't know what to make of it because I was in second grade at the time. Obviously, I had never read the books by that point, and I just thought it was this cool movie about swords and magic and elves, and of course, that was my first exposure to elves that weren't tied in any way to Christmas. But yeah, I liked it. And then the Two Towers came out. I liked that one even more, although there were certain scenes in that one that Mom and Dad made me close my eyes at. For example, when Éomer and his men come along and slay all of the Uruk-hai that had captured Merry and Pippin, they made me close my eyes there. The scene where Frodo falls into the water in the Dead Marshes and is attacked by all those ghosts, they made me close my eyes there. But of those movies, Return of the King is the only one that I have seen in theaters. And then, of course, I own now a Blu-ray copies of the extended editions of all three. In fact, I am due for a rewatch of those. So
Me
expect
too.
expect streams about those coming up soon.
That means I got to pull mine out and start watching them again. It's been a while for that one, because it
Yeah.
was just mind blowing. And
And
you've read the books? Have you read the books yet?
it's been a while, but yes, I have read the books. I'm due for a reread of those two. I might do both at the same time, honestly.
There we go. Mm-hmm. I
And
mean, I kind of.
I've also read The Hobbit and seen all three movies, and unpopular opinion, I do love the Hobbit movies too.
Mm-hmm.
Although I recognize they are far from the book.
Right. I mean, I've only seen the first Hobbit film, and I do have that on Blu-ray. And I did like the first one, despite, obviously there's always going to be interpretation, issues
Yeah.
because trying to get over. But
And
I only
people
see,
made something of a stink of the CGI in that one too.
yeah, and yeah, it's bound to. But again, for me, what's the story? Are you keeping the story of the people, good actors, and doing a good job
Yeah.
on that? I mean, the special effects is always the filler. It shouldn't be the main thing, type of thing. But I know I saw bits and pieces of the other ones. And I'm going, I don't know if I can watch these. I don't know if I can watch it after the other ones.
I like them as movies, number one,
Mm.
but I can reconcile them being different from the book because, at least to me, they're made in the same. It's done tastefully, I can say, which is far from what we can say about Amazon and their bastardization right now. Did you see the picture, by the way, that they just came out with about Celebrimbor?
No, I haven't yet.
Would you like to?
Okay, might as well do it. I'm going to see it eventually. You might as well have a friend do it for me. Let a friend do it. That way it softens the blow or ends the friendship. One of the two.
Okay, so you've already seen, by the way, the picture of Elrond in this show, correct?
Yeah. It's like, are you kidding me?
Here it is. They may as well be the same character here. They may as well be the same person.
He looks like he's out of a 1950s science fiction film. Honestly, look at the hair. Look at that outfit. It's like the day the Earth. No.
He looks like a Vulcan. I'm not joking. He looks like a Vulcan with that hairstyle, with the ears, and with the eyebrows.
Yeah, he looks like Eric Pierpoint in some ways. But no. Oh, yeah. It's like, why? Why? What does Amazon need to do with the ring? No, sorry.
I may have suffered through Kenobi. I'm not touching this show with a 10-foot pole.
No, there are limits to even what I mean. No, there's no way I'm going to even grace the fact that they get some sort of metric off of me with that, because again, without respect, we reject.
Yes.
All the way across the board. I mean, it's just so much. They ruined the Watchmen. They're ruining this. You can tell right off the bat they're ruining this. Star Trek is gone. But the thing is, I'm not black-pilled.
Didn't Amazon also ruin Wheel of Time?
Yeah. See, wasn't much into Wheel of Time, so I'm not very familiar with it. So I'm just going off of.
I know nothing.
Yeah, and I just know what people are saying, and they're hitting the points. It's like, okay, yeah, they really screwed up, and decided to destroy another property that's so loved by people, so loved.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. Well, Master Paul, we're coming up to about an hour and a half here. Now, did you have anything you want to plug? Do you have another song you want to play before we go? Is there
Unfortunately,
anything?
I don't think I can do another song because my grandmother by now is likely asleep in the next room, and I don't want to risk waking her up.
Okay, everybody, shh, quiet.
But I will plug that this coming Friday is Animation Friday. It's the show where I am watching through the Clone Wars, the 3D show, I have seen the 2D show, and that's covered also, but we're watching through the TV show. And this week is a big week because we're covering the Umbara arc, which has possibly the most controversial Star Wars, the Clone Wars character in it, Pong Krell. And so, yeah, we will be covering that Friday. Of course, Sunday is our normal streaming time. We'll probably talk about Kenobi, but we will also be scratching off another movie from our never before seen list. That movie will be Alien,
the original one. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Based off a book by A.E. Van Vogt, Voyage to the Space Beagle.
And didn't John Carpenter make that, or did he just make the sequel one?
He made the sequel one. It's Ridley Scott did the original.
Oh,
so the same guy who did Blade Runner did Alien, and then of course the sequel Aliens was done by
John Carpenter.
No, not John Carpenter. Not John Carpenter. John Carpenter
James
is Halloween.
Cameron.
James Cameron. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Who also did the Terminator franchise, didn't he?
Correct. He did Terminator, Terminator 2. He did Titanic. He did Avatar. He did The Abyss. So he's done quite a few films along the way also on that one. He's out of the old Corman school. He used to work on stuff such as Battle Beyond the Stars, a great Star Wars knockoff that Corman did back in the late 70s. With John Boy in space.
John Rendell, I would love to get your email, man.
You know something?
What's that?
I got one of these my daughter got one of these Amazon thingamabobbers and is talking.
Oh my God, you have an Alexa?
I don't. No, well, I don't. It's my daughter's, but somehow it's here.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. Hi. I got to keep the CIA and FBI guys busy somehow. So I just, say and name things around when no one's around, and wait for the van to pull up outside.
Wow.
Yeah, like I said, it's not mine. I did not purchase it. It's my daughter's. So, but funny story about that. Before we go, of course, it was in this office here. Which is down a long hallway to where the bedroom is and my wife and I were in the bedroom, we're talking, and we brought up about the Frozen and that inane song and how much, we hate it. We're talking at normal volume. We're not talking loud.
You were checking to make sure it didn't play that.
Or anything for that matter. But we said it, and all of a sudden I'm hearing music down the hallway. It's like, okay, we're the only ones here. What's going on? I go down there, I'm listening. It's like, that stupid thing heard us down the hallway and is playing music. So we, but
that's why I will never own one of those.
Oh, I had a lot of fun though. I used to program all the Halloween scary stuff to go off for my daughter in middle of certain nights. I would tell her, play haunted house sounds at 2:00 in the morning, please. I know how to scar my kids. I scar my kids. I'm evil. That's why they couldn't wait to get
evil.
out of the house.
I don't believe it.
Talk to the Alexa. Shut up. Yeah, it was playing something. I don't.
Wow. Wait. Don't tell me it heard me through your headphones.
No. I said something, and it does. I got an iPad, and I start saying something. All of a sudden, my Siri goes nuts. It's like, what are you getting out of this? And it's like, oh, whatever. I'm a Luddite. What can I say? And the long suffering has to agree. Yes, I am.
I gotcha.
What other stuff I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you on that. What other stuff did you have?
Well, I think as soon as this stream's over, I'm going to head over to my gaming channel and play something. I don't know exactly what yet. Well, I'll decide when I get there, but for those that are not here, I'm going to send you real quick a link to my Discord. If you can put this in the chat. If anyone watching this if anyone watching this is on Discord and you're not part of my Discord yet, Baron will be putting the link to it in the description. And what's cool about the Discord is anytime I do a gaming stream, there's a section there called Gaming Stream Co-host. It's a voice chat, and you're in there and you're talking with me as I play the game, and whoever's watching the stream on YouTube can hear you, so they hear the whole conversation. So yeah, like I said, I'll decide what we play when we get there, but I'm heading over there in just a moment.
Fantastic! I gotta handle this Discord thing a little bit better.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what Cash Money keeps on. He keeps on ragging me about that one. And so I'll finish it up with me. If there's nothing more on your side, I'll bring up the fact that every Saturday for me, you'll find me with Gary at Pulp Culture Minefield for Saturday Morning Fun Time Show. We always have a grand old time. I have been kindly invited by this gentleman over here for whatever reason to be part of his Tuesday night trek, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time on his channel, and is in the link down below. So,
being perfectly honest, I invited you just because I like listening to talk to you.
Thank you. Very kind of you. I'm always honored when someone that decides they want to put up with me. And that's usually what I put down as there's a masochistic streak through somebody if they want me around. So, but of course, definitely catch out. You'll never know what group of rogues will be coming through there. Where there's Pacific 414, Cash Money, Brandon the anime guy, and it's on and off Spock, all those fun guys. And of course, how can I forget my first gig, the gig that I was hired on for the first time? It's the Primetime Kings.
Yes.
24/7 Fusion Media, the ever-expanding waistline of fat Steven Seagal, the mysterious Vigilante Williamson, of course, yours truly, every Sunday at 5:15, give or take, at Central Standard Time on 24/7 Fusion Media's channel. And we have a grand old time there. And trust me, whatever we decide we want to talk about never comes to fruition. We always get off track. So it's a fun time. So, yep. And of course, Wednesday here with, of course, Baron After Dark. So I want to thank everybody who's come on to the show, into the chat there, and those who are lurking. Of course, my super rich John Rendell, DJ Ronnie G, the old man. Did I say my long-suffering Mrs. Tag? Oh, my long-suffering Mrs. Tag, thank you for being here. Salty, Texas, see? Great guy. I love that guy. I really do. And he's got a better set of pipes than I do. Pacific 414, I didn't see you sneak in there, man. Pacific 414, good that you were there. Of course, we had Coach. I don't know if Coach is still in there. Coach, welcome here from Echo Base Network, low spec Linux laptop. We had Leah Rose. She was kind enough to come in here and be part of the show. And I think I got just about everybody who was in the chat. If I missed you, please forgive me. I'm a little senile. I'm crazy. So I just want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you for joining our great and talented Master Paul. Anyone who listened to his music, it was
well. Thank you for having me again, man.
Yeah, it's a great honor having you here, and you know you're going to be back here. You know it.
Of course.
So I'll hit you over the head and force you in there, hold you hostage. You got to be here, whether you like it or not. So
of course.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining on the show tonight. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening and a great rest of your week. Thank you for joining Baron After Dark.
Very interesting, but stupid.